Did you hear about the guy who got so excited about the new year? He went around kissing everyone at midnight. He was having a great time until he realised he was at a family reunion. Oops. Now let's get down to business. New Year's Eve, a time filled with fireworks, resolutions, and a whole lot of myths. From first footing to polar bear plunges, we're here to debunk 10 of the most common New Year traditions. So, let's dive into the world of myths, starting with the first one. Ever heard of first footing? Some believe the first person to cross your threshold in the new year should be a dark-haired man to bring good luck. But what if it's the pizza delivery guy? Let's break it down, shall we? This tradition hails from Scotland, where it was customary to welcome a tall, dark and handsome man, preferably carrying coal, whiskey or bread. This was a symbol of ensuring warmth, food and good cheer for the year ahead. Now, if your first footer happens to be a blonde, it was considered bad luck. Now, let's debunk this. Firstly, your luck for the year is not determined by the hair colour of your first visitor. Secondly, the pizza delivery guy is just as good a first footer as anyone else, if not better. At least you get pizza, right? So there you have it. No need to kidnap your dark-haired neighbour this new year. The midnight kiss, a romantic tradition or just an excuse for Tony from accounting to get close to you. Now, let's delve into the history of this smoochy tradition. It's said to have originated from masked balls, where the mask represents evil spirits from the old year, and the kiss is the purification into the new. But let's face it, most of us just see it as a prime opportunity to pucker up with someone attractive or, Tony from accounting. But here's the kicker. There's no real evidence to back up this tradition's historical authenticity. It's more a social expectation fueled by Hollywood movies and our collective fear of being the only one not kissing when the clock strikes 12. So, before you start strategizing your midnight move, remember it's all just smoke and mirrors, so sorry Tony, maybe next year. New Year's resolutions, the reason gym memberships skyrocket in January and plummet by February. The tradition of making resolutions is as old as the concept of time itself. Every year we promise ourselves to read more books, eat more vegetables, or finally learn how to juggle flaming torches. But let's get real. How many of us actually stick to these promises? Statistics suggest that a whopping 80% of resolutions fail by the second week of February. That's right, folks, our collective willpower has the lifespan of a housefly. So why do we persist in this annual ritual of self-deception? Perhaps it's the allure of a fresh start, the optimism that comes with a new year. But let's face it, the only thing that's truly changing with the new year is the date. So keep your money and skip the gym. Your couch misses you. Fireworks, a beautiful tradition or just a way to give your dog a heart attack. Let's dive into the origin of this colourful, ear-splitting celebration. Some say it's a way to ward off evil spirits. Others claim it symbolises hopes for a bright future. Well, I'm here to tell you it's all a bunch of poppycock. Fireworks were actually invented by a Chinese cook who accidentally mixed 3 common kitchen ingredients: saltpeter, sulphur and charcoal, and voila! He had a rudimentary gunpowder. This explosive discovery was then packed into bamboo shoots and set on fire, resulting in a loud bang. And thus, fireworks were born, not out of symbolic significance, but from a culinary blunder. Now, we use these colourful explosives to mark the passing of another year, all the while terrifying our pets and waking up the neighbourhood. So maybe this year let's spare Fido the trauma. After all, he's been a good boy, hasn't he? Noise-making at midnight, a joyous celebration or a perfect way to wake up the baby and send your cat into a frenzy. Now let's dive into the history of this cacophonous tradition. Once upon a time, people believed that making a racket at the stroke of midnight would scare off evil spirits. Just imagine ancient folks banging pots and pans thinking, "Take that, you nasty ghouls." It's like trying to scare off a bear with a feather duster. Fast forward to today, and we're still clinging to this tradition, albeit with a modern twist. We now have fireworks, air horns, and of course, those confounding party poppers that shower everyone with tiny bits of paper that take an eternity to clean up. And let's not forget about the poor pets trembling under the bed, wondering why their humans have suddenly lost their minds. So maybe a quiet toast is a better idea. Your cat will thank you. Lucky foods, a delicious tradition, or a clever ploy by your mum to get you to eat your greens? Let's dig into this scrumptious myth, shall we? Picture this. It's New Year's Day and you're told, eat this plate of 12 grapes at the stroke of midnight and you'll have good luck for the next 12 months. Sounds simple, right? But have you ever tried to stuff 12 grapes in your mouth while the clock is striking midnight? You're more likely to choke than to experience a sudden windfall of fortune. And what about those greens? They're supposed to represent money, but let's be honest. If eating spinach made us rich, Popeye would be on Forbes' list of billionaires. And who could forget the classic black-eyed peas? Allegedly, they bring prosperity. But if you ask me, they just bring a lot of gas. So, eat what you want this new year. Your luck isn't hiding in a plate of black-eyed peas. Cleaning on New Year's Day, a fresh start, or just your parents' way of getting you to clean the house? Ah, the great New Year's Day clean-up. A tradition as old as, well, dirt. It's said that cleaning on the first day of the year will sweep away all the bad luck from the previous year and prepare your home for the good luck to come. But let's be honest, folks. If a bit of elbow grease and a feather duster could erase our misfortunes, we'd all be living in spotless mansions, wouldn't we? But let's not forget, the tradition also warns that you might sweep away the good luck coming your way. So if you're a bit clumsy with the broom, you might just be sweeping away that lottery win, or the chance of bumping into your celebrity crush at the local supermarket. So leave the cleaning for another day. Your New Year's Day should be about relaxation. The polar bear plunge, a refreshing tradition or a surefire way to catch a cold? Ah, the polar bear plunge, where brave or perhaps foolhardy souls dive into icy waters on New Year's Day. But why, you may ask? Well, some believe it washes away the old year, making room for the new. Others think it's a fantastic way to kickstart a regrettable bout of pneumonia. Now imagine this, a polar bear in his cosy Arctic den gets wind of this human tradition. He chuckles to himself, shakes his furry head and mutters, "Silly humans, that's not how you do a polar bear plunge. Where's the salmon catch at the end?" So, does this frosty swim actually have any benefits? Well, some say it boosts immunity and improves circulation. But then again, so does a good, warm cup of tea. And it's far less likely to induce hypothermia. So maybe stay dry this new year. Your body will thank you. Dropping the ball in Times Square, a grand tradition or an overrated tourist trap? Ah, the time-honoured tradition of freezing your toes off in the middle of New York City while waiting for a gigantic glowing orb to descend from the heavens. Sounds fun, right? Well, it's about as fun as watching paint dry, if the paint was also freezing cold and surrounded by millions of people. Now, let's talk facts. This tradition started in the early 20th century, supposedly to signal the start of the new year, but really it's just a giant light bulb on a pole. And guess what? It doesn't even drop that fast. It takes a whole minute. That's 60 long, cold seconds of watching a light bulb. But hey, if standing in a crowd while being showered in confetti and probably someone's spilled hot chocolate is your idea of a good time, who am I to judge? So, maybe watch the ball drop from the comfort of your own home. Your feet will thank you. Making noise at midnight, a fun tradition or an excuse to annoy your neighbours. Now, let's dive into the clattering world of midnight uproar. It's been said that making a racket at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve is a must. Apparently the noise is supposed to scare off evil spirits and bad luck for the coming year. But let's be real for a moment, shall we? If loud noises could really scare off bad luck, wouldn't we all be living in a utopia by now? I mean, think about it. We've been banging pots and pans, setting off fireworks and shouting at the top of our lungs every New Year's Eve for centuries. Yet here we are, still hoping for a better year every time the clock strikes 12. It's quite hilarious, isn't it? So maybe keep the noise down this new year. Your neighbours will thank you. So there you have it. 10 New Year's myths debunked. We've journeyed from the strange superstitions of first footing to the chilly adventures of the polar bear plunge. But remember, my friends, these are all just traditions. The real crux of the matter is to have fun and embrace the new year in your own unique style. Don't be like the guy at the family reunion who still believes in these myths. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Happy New Year! Happy New.